as Hitmontop's close combat barely misses out on the KO. Hi, hello, my name is Frankie, and welcome back to Gotta Drag 'em All-Stars, the one and only place on the internet to see two Drag Race queens duke it out with 6v6 Pokemon battles to see who goes home and who stays. Last week, one of our frontrunners in Asia O'Hara fell into the bottom two against Irene, and while she won her battle, she's dropped in the standings considerably, from a tie for 2nd place down to 6th. Meanwhile, Crystal jumped from 8th place to a tie for 3rd after her win. And while Manila is still in the lead, and Saphira has now pulled away as a clear 2nd place, the race to the crown has never been tighter. So, let's visit our queens in the workroom and see what they're up to. But before we do that, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really matters more than you think, and most of you aren't subscribed yet, so do me a favor and hit that button below. Girl, what's poppin'? Hi queens! I want to see you be the very best like no one ever was. For this week's Maxi Challenge, you'll be showing off your talents in the Gotta Drag 'em All Talent Show Extravaganza. Break a leg. Now, going through placements will actually be pretty interesting because the variety/talent show didn't start becoming a regular challenge until the more recent seasons, so a lot of our queens actually haven't done one. Only 3 of our remaining queens have been in one, with Manila and Gia both placing safe for their All-Stars 4 talent show performances, and Saphira winning the challenge on Season 16 for her opera performance. That means we have 6 queens that will have to rank. Immediately, I'm going to put Nina Flowers as high given her skills as a DJ, and I'll also put Kim in a high spot since maybe she could do an original song in the same vein as her, Season 8 finale performance, which I always thought was really fun. Meanwhile, I'll put Crystal as safe, because I think she could come up with something kooky and interesting. And now choosing between Raven, Asia, and Shuga for 1 low spot and 2 bottom spots, I think I'll put Asia as low, and so our bottom queens of the week will be Raven and Sugarcane. Now that we're getting deeper into the season, we're hitting a point where queens sometimes will have been in the bottom multiple times. I'm sure y'all will recall that this is actually Shuga's 3rd time in the bottom, but Raven was actually in the bottom way back in episode 1 too, so I'll give you all a quick refresher. Raven will be stepping up to bat with Obstagoon, Swanna, Crobat, Hitmontop, Colossal, and Corviknight. While most of her mons can dish out some good damage, Obstagoon will definitely be her anchor and is a Pokemon who can absolutely tear through opposing teams with ease. Meanwhile, Shuga will once again be coming in with Chandelure, Drapion, Mamoswine, Flareon, Archeops, and Muck. While Chandelure was Shuga's previous most valuable Pokemon, she's gonna have a harder time using it against a dark Pokemon like Obstagoon on Raven's team, so another Pokemon will need to step up to help Shuga to victory. Our trainers both know the drill, so let's go ahead and get this battle started. Mother, over to you.
Sugarcane, Raven, you're up for elimination. 2 queens stand before me. This is your last chance to impress me and to save yourself from elimination. The time has come for you to
Pokemon battle
for your life. Good luck, and don't get up.
Raven leads with Crobat, while Shuga is going to go with Mamoswine, and this is a terrible matchup for Raven, so she's going to pivot out with a U-turn and bring in Hitmontop to get off an Intimidate, as Shuga will take this opportunity to set up Stealth Rocks. Shuga's probably expecting a fighting type attack here, so she swaps into Chandelure and successfully avoids that close combat. Raven's going to swap into Colossal here into a Shadow Ball from Chandelure, which does a massive 60%, taking it low enough to trigger its Citrus Berry. Both trainers are just going to stay in here, and another Shadow Ball will take Colossal out. In comes Obstagoon for Raven, and Shuga is gonna swap into Drapion. who will be able to brush off that knockoff pretty well, but it does lose its black sludge in the process. Flame Orb triggers and a guts boosted Facade comes in and does some huge damage to Drapion, but it hangs on, and Shuga's actually going to opt for a layer of Toxic Spikes. I don't know about that one. Obstagoon's a huge threat, and going for damage might have been better there. Shuga swaps into Chandelier now as she knows another Facade is coming in, and again successfully avoids that attack. Shuga is now going to swap into Drapion again on that knockoff, and she's just trying to build up more burn damage on that Obstagoon. Mind Games are in full effect now as Raven goes for knockoff, expecting Chandelier to come back in, but Shuga stays in, survives the attack, and goes for another layer of Toxic Spikes. Drapion will finally go down this next turn to knockoff, and Shuga will bring in her next Pokemon, which will be Archeops. And Archeops here is going to be able to outspeed and get that revenge KO onto Obstagoon with that Head Smash. Raven brings in Corviknight here, and Shuga is going to swap into Muck to tank the incoming attack. That's Iron Head. It takes it pretty well, actually. Brave Bird comes out from the Corviknight and does 37% to Muck, but it hangs on, and it goes for a knockoff, getting rid of that Rocky Helmet, but not before doing a little bit of damage to the Muck in the process. Another Brave Bird comes out, and Muck will go down. Shuga swaps into Chandelure, while Raven will bring in Swanna, who is going to take 25% from Stealth Rocks and a massive 63% from Flamethrower. Swanna does outspeed here, but instead of going for damage, Raven goes for a Tailwind to help take control of the speed battle, and down goes Swanna to another Flamethrower. Raven brings Corviknight back in, and he's going to go for a Brave Bird this turn, but Chandelure survives and is going to be able to knock Corviknight out with another Flamethrower. Raven's going to bring out Crobat here, who should be able to finally take Chandelure out, with that Brave Bird. Shuga's going to send in Mamoswine here, and Raven will likely swap, into Hitmontop, who is going to get poisoned from those Toxic Spikes, but will get off an Intimidate. Ice Shard comes in, but it doesn't do too much damage here because of that Intimidate. And Shuga is likely going to have to swap here. She brings in Flareon, as Hitmontop's Close Combat barely misses out on the KO. Unfortunate for Raven. Shuga is going to go for a Detect here, All Shuga wants to do is to continue to ramp up that poison damage on the Hitmontop. Shuga is actually going to go for another Detect, and she lands it! That's unbelievably lucky for Shuga. Bad luck for Raven, as Hitmontop takes another turn of poison damage. Shuga brings out Archeops now, as Raven swaps into Crobat. Archeops goes for that Acrobatics, but actually doesn't do too much to Crobat, and Crobat will retaliate with a Brave Bird, but it's resisted because of Archeops' Rock type. Head Smash comes in, but Crobat dodges it, going for another Brave Bird, but Archeops hangs on with 6% health, and is going to be able to take Crobat out with that Head Smash, but it will also go down to Recoil. Raven's last Pokemon is Hitmontop, while Shuga's last Pokemon is Mamoswine. Things are not looking good for Raven, even through that Intimidate. I believe that Ice Shard should do the trick. Fake Out comes out, actually. Raven's stalling right now, but Ice Shard on this next turn should be enough, and down goes Hitmontop, and Shuga will win the battle.
Sugarcane, Shantae, you stay. Raven, sashay away.
Shuga is making history, y'all, as she survives her third time in the bottom. This was a really close battle, and both queens played it really well. For me, the MVP or most valuable Pokemon will have to be Shuga's Chandelure once again. She expertly navigated around Obstagoon's attacks and was able to pick up KOs on Swanna and Corviknight. With Raven's elimination, we're down to our top 8 queens. It's been such a wild ride already, but things are about to heat up even more. I'll see y'all right here in 2 weeks for episode 8. Bye!